Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox. Of course, I'm obviously in another location. All I can tell you is that real life, real life sometimes can have you in places that you feel like you would never end up. Um, don't take anything for granted, y'all. That's what I would say. I know I'm projecting, and I'm sorry about that, but just know that I'm going to try very vehemently to get content out despite circumstances. Um, what I want to do is, on a more positive note, celebrate two people. And those two people are going to be Terrence Bud Crawford and also Broderick Jones, left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, first subject I want to make sure that I tackle is, of course, what happened with Crawford after his celebration in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. I'll get to it. Unfortunately, after a well deserved celebration for being the 3 time undisputed champion and pound for pound best boxer in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford was pulled over by local police in Omaha, told to exit his vehicle, then was held at gunpoint and then handcuffed on top of that. This was all done in front of friends and family who were probably going to be emotionally and psychologically scarred for the rest of their lives. Um, it is a very, it is a very upsetting reminder that regardless of what you've actually achieved in life, and then regardless of how much you actually help your community, and that this particular community directly connects with this man, that you're still an Nigger to some people, even in your own community. What this officer did was inexcusable. The punishment certainly did not fit the crime to where you have to actually bring a man out by gunpoint, handcuff him in front of his friends and family, just to try to humiliate him and snatch your power back that you feel like you've actually lost. This message is directly to these particular officers that were actually involved. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should not be wearing a badge, and you should be run out of Omaha, Nebraska. If you are not run out of Omaha, Nebraska, your life deserves to be as torturous and painful. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Your life needs to be a living hell. Okay? Your life needs to be a living hell. And for those that are like, well, what about these officers' families? Does Terrence Crawford's family not matter? Because this was done in front of them. What about the emotional and psychological damage done to his children, done to his partner, to see that man like that? That man could have probably lost his life just by a traffic stop. And that's an unfortunate reality as a black man in America. But, we're claiming victimhood and things of that nature. But what I will say is when someone else falls victim to violence, then it's different. I just, yeah, I'm just sick and tired of the double standards. Human lives matter, okay? Human lives matter. Whether it be our lives, whether it be white ones, whether it be Asians, whether it be Hispanics, everybody should matter, okay? And the fact that black people have to remind America that we actually matter should not upset people, because we're only trying to say that we're human too. That's all the grassroots organization was. I can't speak to what's actually going on right now with that particular group. Now, what I will also address is this: this man has done more for his community probably than that police officer or officer, excuse me. So those group of bandits or thugs that actually pulled Terence Crawford out of his vehicle and held him at gunpoint and handcuffed him, knowing who he is, I do not care that they claim that they don't know who he was. That's a lie. That is a lie. That's a lie. You know full well who he was, and you know what you were doing. And I certainly hope that you reap whatever you sow. And if the people that you're attached to have to suffer because of that, so be it. Yes, that sounds callous and cruel, but think about what damage was actually done to Terence Crawford's family and those that actually love him, to watch that man have to go through that. And it could have easily been a situation to where he lost his life. We would have to be celebrating the life of Terence Bud Crawford as opposed to actually just trying to make sure that people know that black people are people too. It's just a sad reminder. But on a more positive note, again, we're here to celebrate Terence Bud Crawford. So, Bud, who is the 3-time undisputed champion at 140, 147, and then now 168 pounds, is a guaranteed boxing Hall of Famer. Now, the one thing I do not appreciate about Terence Bud Crawford is the destruction that he put on Earl Spence Jr. I'm not laughing at you, Mr. Spence. I'm really not. But yeah, I'm still continuing to support Earl Spence Jr. whether or not he boxes, because he means a lot to our community here in Dallas, and he should be appreciated and celebrated too. He made that fight happen, to be honest with you, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. He made that fight happen. But albeit we're here to celebrate Bud, I definitely celebrate and appreciate Terence Bud Crawford, despite the destruction that he put on my guy, who is still my guy. And I look forward to seeing if he does anything in the future. Now, the biased part of me actually wants to see Bud Crawford go to 160 and collect all the belts. I think Janabek is actually fighting Carlos Adames to unify 2 of the belts. So I think there's Irislan de Lara is still out there. And I think that if he actually fights Laura for his WBA belt, and then he can fight the winner from Janabek Adames, then he has a great chance of actually unifying all the belts at 160. So I would love to be able to see him do that, and then become a 4-time undisputed champion, of course, in the male division of boxing, because Clarissa Shields dominates the female side of boxing, obviously. But I look forward to Bud's next move career-wise. Even if it's retirement, he will be very well celebrated and very well appreciated. Now, moving on to other positive news. One Broderick Jones for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sir, I want to make sure that I apologize to you, okay? Because I have been rather strict and rather difficult with you for good reason. Now, unfortunately, the play that you were displaying initially was just not up to par. But this week, I get to eat my words. So, to you, Broderick Jones, I want to make sure that you are also celebrated and appreciated for the masterful performance that you actually put on last Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. Not only were you able to actually execute your assignments at an A+ level in most cases, you were also able, because of your determination and hustle, provide a critical fumble recovery from Aaron Rodgers to almost quite literally save the game. So I definitely appreciate the work that you've actually put in to get better. He did slim down for training camp. He did show improvement in movements and hand positioning. Now, if we're able to do that consistently, I don't mind getting on here every week and celebrating Broderick Jones. That's how I'm wired. You know, if you're gonna actually criticize somebody when they're doing something bad, you have to provide that same energy when they're actually doing something excellent. And this week, Broderick Jones did excellent. So, you know, once again, I'm eating my words this week, and that, and then also for Broderick Jones, I am extremely proud of what of the work that he actually put in. So, to Broderick Jones, thank you on behalf of most of the sensible fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, you know, I just want to make sure that you are also celebrated and appreciated. And I look forward, honestly, to doing this again after you all play the Browns, I believe. Yeah, because we got a bye week this week. So after we play the Browns, I hope to be able to celebrate and appreciate you again, man. Well, all right. This has been another. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. Got to make sure that I shout out to my brothers here. Jared O11 Green, who is also a content creator, has several shows that he does, two of which I'll go over. The first one is going to be excuse me, I'm sorry. The first one is actually the Southern Baller Show that usually comes on Sundays, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then he also has another show, and I just went blank on it. I'm sorry. It's from a black man's perspective. So that comes on 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, also on YouTube. My brother, Coach 67 Sports TV, has a wide variety of content because he is the best Southern University content creator on the face of this planet. Please check him out. Once you actually like and then subscribe to his channel, you'll get notifications as far as what shows he's doing and when he's doing them. Also, please check out my brother Junior the Truth, who has some very inspirational content, especially if you are actually trying to self-improve. Very important content that you should take in. He has the Black Coffee Club. Then he has a Punch Junkie podcast that he does for real boxing fans. So please check that out. Go to his channel. You can hit the notification bell for either sets of those particular shows. And then last but not least, we have the founder, the General 78 Sports TV. And when I say founder, I'm talking about founder, the LDBC. Please check his content out. It's 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Well, this has been another episode of It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox. Y'all make sure that y'all love each other out here. And I'll see you next time.